All right, welcome back. Another episode of Beauty Beats Balance.
Welcome back.
We are back for this. Is this our first episode of the new year?
Yes, it is. It is. And we did miss the first Thursday we were supposed to record, but that's because we're on holiday.
Right.
So forgive us. We will be consistent this year. I can feel it.
We were consistent this past year. We were consistent.
Yeah, but did we start at the beginning of the year?
I don't know if we started necessarily at the beginning of the year, but since we started, we'd be consistent, right?
Yes.
And the only time we missed was if we had to be out of town or a holiday or something like that. I don't think we missed just to be missing.
Well, I'm just happy to be back.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot has went on since we've been gone. And 25 has, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year.
Mm-hmm.
But 25 has had a hell of a start.
It has?
Literally a hell of a start.
Mm-hmm. Why you say that?
Well, I say a hell of a start because of the fires in LA.
Yeah. Shout out or prayers.
Yeah.
For those
prayers.
And thoughts with them. You know, that's kind of.
I mean, should we just talk about it? Should we talk about that just to get it out the way?
I mean,
because it's kind of sad.
Not to get it out the way, but
I guess I didn't want it to be such a heavy episode, but that's such a heavy, for me, it's such a heavy thing that's going on the West Coast.
I mean, it's heavy. I think it's heavy for a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm saying it's heavy to talk about for me. You know.
Okay, that's right.
But yeah, so I'm sure everyone knows that California is suffering from wildfires, which I knew that they had wildfires, but I'm now understanding just how frequent
yeah, all the time
the wildfires are. But I didn't, of course, I guess because we all the way over here in Memphis,
right.
You know, but to see the scale of what's happened.
Yeah.
And then to find out, even today when I got on my IG, to hear that the majority of the homes, not the majority, but a lot of the communities that are suffering, I'm sure a lot of communities are, but a lot of, fourth, fifth generation owned homes from people of color have been affected. And of course we know with this country we live in, not the world, but the country we live in, it's just going to be difficult for those people to rebuild. Mm-hmm. It's going to be challenging for them to rebuild. When you hear about insurance companies dropping families and the price gouging after such a tragedy, it's just hard to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I said I don't want to really get deep into it because it's just so heavy. I don't want to cry today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have to get too deep into it, but I can kind of empathize with those people. You know, I've been in a situation where you just lose, everything. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when I see those pictures of, those people's houses burned to the ground and is nothing there but the concrete foundation, like I've been in those shoes, looking at, it used to be a house here with, with all of our possessions, even though even material things are not the big thing, but just looking at, people talking about like even just photo albums and pictures. Like I always think about, like all the records that were damaged in the storm that my dad had collected, or I had a baseball signed by Willie Mays from my grandfather, you know what I'm saying? Like there was lost. So, and of course all of the pictures and heirlooms, all of those things that kind of get lost in that. And then too, even in that situation, like, with the tornado, like, okay, it might be some water damage or maybe a little mud, but like you talking about fire, like it's just ash, everything is just burned up. Gone. And even if it's not burned, it's so much smoke damage or whatever to it is gone, it's you can't use it. So like, yeah, I definitely kind of feel their pain in that regard.
And I, now that you say that, I mean, I experienced a fire with my family when we were little. During that ice storm year, we experienced a fire and we had to be displaced. We were in an apartment for a few months until they rebuilt our home. And now just going back to that, I remember the trauma of knowing that, because our fire started in the attic. And of course that way we stored everything, especially everything of memory, anything old, it was stored in the attic. Right. And so, we did lose a lot of stuff. And then you're right, it's the fire, it's a fire, and everything was smoky. So even the stuff that wasn't burned, we still really couldn't use because it was
charred.
It was charred and smoky.
Right.
And so, just talking about that, I can't even remember. I can't believe I didn't even think about that. But yeah, it was, and I remember, and the one thing, the reason why I can't talk too much about it is because I just remember, as a child, I was a child. I had to be 14, maybe 13 or 14. I don't know how old I was, but I was young. But I just remember laughing. It's almost like I had a little break. And so I was watching my house burn, but I couldn't do it but just sit there and just laugh. And then I was thinking to myself, why am I laughing? But I was like, am I having like a mental break? Like, it was just so weird for that feeling to watch, you're just watching this chaos going on and you just cannot stop laughing. It's just like, it was very strange.
You can't do that now though. You laugh in weird times.
I do. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's like a coping mechanism for me to like laugh to keep from crying. I don't know. But it was weird that day though, because I remember vividly now, just talking about it. I was sitting on the curb watching the house burn right in front of the street of the house. And just laughing like this. I don't know. I was like, damn, this. I was like, this is just wow. Like, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. But one thing I do want to address, I hate that they're turning into a political thing. So soon in the tragedy, it's still going on, and they're turning political, and it's like, this
what
is
do you
not,
mean by that?
Like, the Republicans and Trump and all, they're attacking the governor and they're attacking the mayor and the people are attacking like if this is their fault, and I just need people to understand, if they can even wrap their mind around what really happened, who can stop that type of a fire? That was God. Yeah. Just like with your tornado, no one could have stopped that tornado. No one could have stopped 100-mile winds, right, powering this fire.
But I think, I haven't really gotten into the sides blaming and everything. But I think some of the things I have heard, the fire department wasn't, they were kind of defunded to a certain extent, and they didn't have the resources to even try to battle it as much as they should have or could have. And even some people saying, how come, since they know California has these wildfires all the time, how come they didn't have, other measures in place, like, some other, planes or something, or some type of aerial pursuit to try to contain it, or things, whether it was some, water or some type of other chemical or something to kind of create a barrier or whatever. So but
here's the thing though, and I don't mean to cut you off, but here's the thing. It was 100-mile winds.
Understood.
Like, planes cannot fly in those conditions.
Understood.
And that was the only thing that could really stop it, was those planes to go through and drop those repellents down on it, because that's what they're trying to do. But if they can't fly, again, if God is blowing winds so strong that even these man-made planes can't fly, how can you fight that? I need for people to understand, and again, they have to investigate if things were failed.
But even to that point though, again, if you got more men on the ground or firefighters able to try to contain some things, I'm not saying it could have been stopped. I'm just saying why some people might be blaming or trying to make it a blame game or point, which is not answer or not right.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like people are blaming, but we cannot blame any. My opinion is we keep lying to ourselves about global warming and how our earth is changing. This is Mother Nature. This has nothing. Man cannot fight God. I guess that's what I'm saying. And it's like, if you watch the videos, right? And I watched this man talk about how he saw the fires coming over the hills, right? And his house got destroyed. But he talked about how he watched the fire coming. Because again, they've experienced fires before, but he said the way this fire was coming, he's never seen anything like that in his life. And again, can you imagine a wall of fire, and not just like a wall from the studio. I'm talking about a long miles and miles of fire being blown by God-powered 100-mile winds across mountains. And then you're talking about mountains where you can't really just get a plane and get, you got to, like, you're in the mountains. So that's already a tricky navigation anyway. How man cannot stop that? But what I'm saying is no, I don't see where there's blame, because they talked about the water pressure. Okay, let's just take an example of this cup is the water pressure. And let's just say in an average wildfires they had, they would have the source to say, okay, this water is going to go to this area, but this area over is straight, but this water is going to be taking care of this fire. But what if it was just way too many like, can you imagine? Yeah, you may have equipped to maybe service, 200, 300 fires going on at one time, right? Maybe. I don't know. Again, we don't experience these fires. But I'm just trying to understand how people, firemen, even if it's double of the people that they had out there on the ground, how can they fight thousands of houses on fire?
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody has experienced this before.
Understood. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying if they had 1 million firefighters, they would have been
I don't think they'd be able to stop it with 1 million.
I'm not saying they'd be able to stop it. I'm just saying it might have been maybe more houses saved, maybe maybe able to contain it a little more, maybe a little bit, just more that they could have done if you got 100 firefighters versus 1,000 firefighters. That's all I'm saying. And so when people say,
True.
People are saying, they start the blame game about so much was taken away from the fire department or so and so, then that's all I was saying is just, I can see where somebody might say that, but that doesn't make it right.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it right, because that's just like saying.
I ain't saying. I'm just saying.
No. What I'm saying is this. Right. What I'm saying is this. I'm trying to understand why this country is not looking at this disaster like they would look at the hurricanes blowing in and causing floods. Okay. Could we have stopped Katrina?
That's what I'm saying.
That's just like saying
I was just about to say that. The same way people say about Katrina.
You can't stop it.
Okay, but people blame Bush or people blame FEMA. But don't say people find things to blame. That's all I was saying. I ain't saying it was right or wrong or nothing. I'm just saying people gonna blame things on things regardless. So when you say that's why people are blaming, because they want to blame something, and everybody don't believe it, and everybody don't want to say it was just.
Well, at least they can believe in nature. Even if they don't believe in God, they can believe in nature.
But again, but they say, but if nature is one thing, but then if we have the resources to be more prepared for nature,
we don't.
But they
okay, pause. I'm sorry. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand clearly, but people to understand. And this is only my opinion, Walter. And we will only see, and I pray we don't see it in our lifetime. I pray we don't see it in our children's lifetime. But we are going to start seeing disasters happen in this world that nobody can control, because man cannot control nature. We can mess it up, but we will not have the power to fight what's coming.
I never said man can control nature. That's not what I said.
But what I'm saying is you're saying that we be prepared. Things about to happen that we will not be prepared for.
I didn't say prepared. I just said that if there was more firefighters, there might have been more they could have done. I didn't say they could have stopped it. I didn't say they could have
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that what this needs to be an eye-opener for people, especially in this country, is that we are constantly destroying our earth, and things are about to start happening and are happening now. Because they want to deny global warming is happening. Things are happening now that no one will be able to prepare for and help and fight, because we cannot fight nature. We cannot fight God. I mean, I believe in God. We cannot fight God.
So I'm saying, what's the point? What's the point that you're making right now?
Well, I'm just saying, because you say things maybe things could have been prepared if they had more firefighters. I don't believe that's true. I believe I believe whatever they could have done, it would not have helped what went on. When that fire came across those mountains,
I understand
in
that.
just an hour,
when I said about the firefighters
moving.
Was about the blame. You were saying who people were blaming things.
Well, no, I thought you were saying if they had more manpower.
I was saying
maybe they could have been prepared.
I was saying people were blaming the fire department because they didn't have it. That's what I was saying. You mentioned the blame.
But that's what I'm saying. People can't blame them for that, because no matter how much manpower you have, some of these things is going to happen no matter how many men. It's not going to stop it.
I understand what you're saying. They can't blame, but people can blame what they want to blame. It might not make sense to you, but in their mind, it don't make sense to you.
No, what I'm saying is that I understand that people are going to blame who they're going to blame.
Okay,
and people
that's
may
it.
not even believe in God.
That's it.
But what I'm saying is that people need to wake up and realize that things are about to happen that nobody can control. No matter how much power and money you think you have.
They've been happening.
But it's going to be worse.
Okay, but I'm saying they've been happening.
All I'm saying is, if this ain't a wake up call, then that's crazy. Because it to me, when you talk like that, it just proves that it's not changing consciousness. It's people still thinking, oh, what can man do? What
so
can we do?
It's not changing my consciousness?
No, I'm saying people.
saying.
Because you're talking about people gonna blame, they're gonna blame. It's like, I get that, but it's still scary to think that even something like this does not change your mind to say, maybe we need to start doing something different.
Okay, but see, look at
and
what you
living
just said.
different.
Right. That's fine. You said that you have your thoughts and everything, and you want people to start. They should be looking at things different. That's fine. But everybody's not going to move at your pace. Everybody's not going to move at their pace. So
I was just talking about kind of like you were arguing a point about if people are complaining because they were, they didn't have enough manpower.
I'm not arguing with it. I'm just arguing. I'm telling you that's why people were arguing the point. That's why people are pointing fingers and blaming.
Yeah, but you just think about it. Let's just say that you used to, and this is my last point on it because I don't really want to keep going on it. But let's just say again, back to this cup. If this cup is only capable of servicing, of feeding, of drinking, 3 people can only drink out this cup, right? I can't expect for this cup to be able to, unless it's God multiplying the fish and the bread or whatever. I cannot imagine that this cup that I have of tea is going to nourish 300 people when it's only made for me or maybe 3 other people to get some satisfaction. That's all I'm saying. And I feel like with the California fires, they only had so much resources, but I don't think they even could imagine how many resources they would need to fight what they're experiencing right now. I just don't think nobody could have had the resources to fight what they're fighting right now.
Right.
And that's just scary to think about because that's just one thing that's happening. What happens when the next disaster happens? And when we go to blaming, well, we weren't equipped. We were never equipped.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We were never equipped. So why are you so bent out of shape about it? We were never equipped.
Well, no, I was saying that you were saying that people we could have done more. What I'm saying is I don't think anybody could have done more.
I just responded to you. I just responded to you saying people were blaming. And I was just saying that's why people are blaming.
Yes.
That's all I said. I didn't say one was right or wrong.
You know what, Walter? Let's move on.
Please.
What's next?
We talked about the fires. You want to talk about the holidays?
Let's just talk about something else. So, my holidays was good.
Okay.
You didn't take a break, but I took a break. And I needed that break. So, I was just happy that I was able to purge. I was able to redo my closet because it is now a prayer closet. And I think that's what God wanted me to have because he knew it was cold outside. And I can't sit in my she shed in those cold weathers. But anyway, I feel like we had a good Christmas. I feel like we had a good New Year's.
Okay. Is that it?
I don't know, Walter. I don't know.
I thought you were saying, yeah, you talked about the break. I thought you were going to talk about some of the other things you did. Like you got some rest and relaxation.
I actually did not rest.
You didn't? Why not?
I feel like I didn't because I was so busy purging. I feel like as soon as I got off, I just started purging the house. Then I started redoing the closet. Then I just felt like I didn't really get a real day of rest until the day before I went to work. Mm. You didn't see that?
I did. What you mean? I was doing all the damn work.
I know, but you act like I was in the bed.
No, but I'm saying, I'm just saying you. So even with the purging, so that's not something that's something you wanted to do.
I did.
Yeah, right. So.
And I just thank God I had the time to do it.
Right, but you could have been doing a little resting.
I could have been.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could have been, mm-hmm. And that's why I always kick myself.
Oh yeah, that's all I want you to. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm going to get to right there. Exactly. Okay. Continue.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know why that happens. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I know I should be laying down sometimes, but again, the Spirit was moving me, and I had to move some stuff out the way so I can be prepared for this year. That's what happened. That's what really happened. God said, you need to clear some stuff out because you got to focus. And the only way I was going to get there, because I love where I am. I love that, I love that I perch. But I had to move all this stuff out of the way so I can get there. And, we had to kick off some stuff. So I understand why I didn't rest.
Oh, okay.
But I do know now that I have to make time for rest.
Right.
And that's okay.
That's fine, yeah. Because, you got some stuff done that you want to get done. And
I did.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm tired. I may look tired because I got no makeup on today. But
you ain't got no makeup on?
So, I've been wearing makeup lately, though. But you know what? It's fine. But I did enjoy the break. I always love being off with the girls. And they purged their rooms. We purged Anna's room. We just got a lot of stuff done. So I felt like I need that end of the year. I love that I take off the end of the year now because I feel like we need those at least 2 weeks to just kind of get things done. And so we can have that fresh new start for the new quarter, Yeah.
I think it's good. I think that's why a lot of businesses do it too. And, just during that time, people just kind of shutting down, rejuvenating, refreshing for the new. And
I feel like we did a good refresh for the house.
I think so. It's good.
And then I discovered a new little spot to do my little bargain shopping, and I found some things. And I put you to work. And
you didn't put me to work.
Yeah. We replaced toilets and faucets and floors.
Yeah, right.
I just put him to work, y'all. As soon as I get something in my head, I'm like, well, this is what we going to do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did he think he was going to change the light fixture today? No, but he is. He didn't know it. But yeah. I'd be like, yeah, today you're going to do this.
And I say, yeah, I'm going to do it. And make sure, just fit it into my calendar. That's all. I'm going to fit it into my calendar. That's all I can do.
Well, I'm so glad you did the things you did do because things are really moving forward.
That's good.
And our couch is coming Tuesday, right?
Okay.
Y'all know we have to catch up with our lives on the podcast. And the people are coming to pick up the couch Sunday.
Okay. I guess I'll make plans for that.
Yeah, we gotta make plans for that.
Right. I guess
because it has to be after church, but before I leave, I have to leave. But no, I told them a time, so I'll let you know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's cool. Sunday's no problem. That's my downtime.
That's your downtime. Now, why is this your downtime? Why'd you decide that you're gonna commit to Sundays being your downtime?
Just because I need those Sundays to kind of, relax a little bit, rejuvenate, do some things around the house, prepare for the upcoming week. I always try not to work on Sundays, but I end up, kind of having things to do or, duty calls sometimes. So just certain things have to be done on Sundays sometimes, but the more I can plan for them.
I thought we made an agreement that regardless of that, we're not going to do anything on Sunday.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't say I'm doing anything on Sunday. That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were saying like when duty calls in May.
See, you're not listening.
I feel like we need to run this podcast back so we can listen to what Walter says.
No,
so we can understand if I'm receiving it the wrong way.
Absolutely, because see, again, I was clearly saying in the past, that's what we were doing. That's what we were saying.
I'm gonna re-listen so I can see how I missed that.
But see, the thing
I'm just for real. I'm gonna because this happens between us. You say one thing, and then I hear something different. And then you say but I said this, but I have no proof of that. So now we have proof. I'm literally going to go back and listen to that and see if I heard it wrong. So let's move on.
Okay. And so, I was clearly saying, they will be documented on the zoom in right there. Yeah. Like I was clearly saying, they will be documented.
You said in the past.
That I was talking about in the past.
But did you say that?
Yeah, because I was talking about, that's what I used to do, is the issue on Sunday. That used to be the issue on Sunday.
Okay.
And why we were talking about this, this year coming forward, this year we're in now, that it's going to be, different, right? That's what we clearly were saying.
No, that's what we're saying. But then you started talking about when duty calls. I thought you were saying, we'll go back. I'll go back. We won't have to rehash.
Do that for you, right?
I'm gonna do that for me.
For you. But I was saying, Sundays, kind of keeping Sundays open to just be family time and stuff like that, so I can dispute what I say with you on Sundays We can just do that at the house. I can just sit there and dispute. And we can go back and review podcasts and conversations on Sundays at the house. We can do that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. The only thing we have to do on Sundays this month though is probably collage. But anyway, yeah. So
but I think that leads into kind of what we wanted to kind of really talk about a little bit today.
Yes.
Which is more the in the new year of in a new
us,
new mindsets, growth, personal development. What are we doing individually to come together stronger and be stronger together? All of these
individually and together. What we're doing. We're working on individually and we're working on together.
So when you
is that what you just said?
That's exactly what I just said. So put that on your list of things that you got to go back that I just said. Okay. Absolutely.
Tim, did he say together or he just said individually? Okay.
Yeah, because that means he's right.
No, that don't mean he's right. He said I'm not getting into it.
That 100% means
no, that's okay,
he's right.
Okay, go ahead. Let me let you talk. Go ahead. Let me let you talk.
But I'll go back like I was saying. We're talking about personal growth and improvement and development, and like I was saying, things that we can do individually to make us better and make us better together, right? Mm-hmm. And so some of those things that we've been kind of implemented the prayer closet. Is that what you're calling it? Is that what we're calling it?
I am calling it a prayer closet.
Okay.
I am, and I was a little opposed to prayer closets, only because I felt like it was too tight of a space. Mm-hmm. But I feel like maybe my closet is just tight. Got a tight space closet, but I love how the layout is in the closet now because I feel like it's perfect for me to go in there and I can even stretch my legs out and be in there for a while without being uncomfortable. And I think that's what Spirit intended. So yeah, I'm excited about the prayer closet. I call it a prayer closet because I feel like that's immediately what I went to for the purpose of praying. And, once I sat down, I was like, oh, so that's what you wanted me to do, God. It's a prayer closet. Okay. And it's cute.
Yeah. And so, and how did you know you needed that? How did you know that for 2025, I need to create a space where I can go and sit and pray, meditate?
Are we going to be transparent today? Do you want me to hold back, or do you want me to go just let it all out?
I mean, I don't know. You said it like that. I don't know what you about to say.
Because it has to do with you.
Right, but I don't know what you about to say. So, I mean,
I know.
I want you to.
So, okay, I'm going to preface this by saying, y'all, me and Walter have been together for 26 years. Right? Mm-hmm. We've gone on 27 years. Oof. So, we have our marital issues, definitely not like some marital issues, but we all relationships have their issues.
I think that's like relationship issues.
Right. Relationship issues. Right. So yeah, everybody has relationship issues. And me and Walter like any relationship, we have our ups and downs and things like that. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not, and let me make sure I point out, this is not all about Walter.
Okay.
It's not. God kind of, I hate to say kinda, because it wasn't no kinda. God showed me some things, and I've said this before in the previous podcast. God has shown me some things when I turned 45. God showed me how things need to change. And so I had that awakening, and I started to pray intensely for God to shake up some things, change some things, remove people, add people. I just got this just sure word from God, like no confusion, clarity that I have. It is now time for me to walk in purpose. And I accepted that from God, because if I felt like for a long time I didn't want to walk in purpose. And people that walk in purpose can understand why you can say that. Because when you walking in purpose is not easy. You know what I mean? And I didn't want that challenge. I half-assed a lot. I didn't want to be all in, because sometimes it can get hard. You can get frustrated, you're tired, you get frustrated with people, But either way, I accepted that assignment. And I became, and I had peace with it, because he showed me, and it's still showing me, how to walk in it and be okay, because it's hard work, but at the same time, it's fulfilling. Just to walk in purpose is fulfilling. You feel like things are changing and happening and growing, and you joy, peace, all the things. But at the same time, once you start walking in purpose, you start seeing all this other stuff going on around you, and you start to understand, like, man, once you start walking with God, like really walking with God, I just feel like you just start seeing how, okay, this ain't right. And it starts to feel different. And then God, but then that's what you asked for, right? I asked for that. I'm like, I asked for you to remove things. And so when God starts to show you like this ain't right, it's like, oh. And you may not, because it's familiar, you want to stay in it. And this can be relationships. With this can be relationships. This can be habits that bring comfort. It's just things that you thought were okay for you. God will reveal, this is not okay. This is not good for you. And me personally, my biggest thing is alcohol. I was an avid wine drinker. You know that. I call myself a wine connoisseur. I was just in love with the fact that I loved wines, and I loved different wines, and I also felt like wines brought me comfort. And like, it's not liquor, I'm like, I was kind of like, oh, it ain't liquor, I'm bougie. It ain't liquor, it's wine,
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, and I justified that, why it's good for me. I even subscribed to you need a glass of wine every day for heart health. I subscribed to all of that when I was drinking wine heavily. Mm-hmm. And God had to show me in that way, in Spirit's way, that alcohol really is not my thing. Alcohol even the wine was hurting me. You remember I would tell you that the wine, one of my favorite wines was like, I felt different in the morning. Like I felt tingly. I felt different. It's almost like he made my body not even want it anymore. And then I realized, once I started losing all this weight, and started to fast and everything like that, or just cutting off after 7 and stop not drinking the wine like I was drinking. And I realized, I was like, man, I do feel better. I do feel healthier. I am better. I'm losing weight. And I was like, oh. So that's just an example that if you are paying attention to where Spirit is taking you, like I could have easily said, oh, this tingling is just, whatever. Let me take a pill for it. Let me take something from my stomach to be better. So I won't feel that reaction. But no, I'm listening to my body. God is telling me this is not really good for you. Everybody's built different, but in my testimony, it was that. That's not good for me. And I'm sure there are other things that aren't good for me that he will remove, but that was really eye-opening. I was like, wow. And I love wine and things like that. But to know that he's like, okay, I understand that the world makes you feel like this is a great thing. Because you know how we celebrate, cocktails. And that's my jam. I love a cute drink. I love that. But he's telling me, I get that, but you can't do that a whole lot. You got to chill on that, And he gave me other ways to cope. We'll talk about, we've talked about it before. But yeah, so just things like that, So when I started walking, I said, I'm going to be intentional. Of course, I talk about meditation and prayer all the time, but I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't in, every single day sitting down meditating and praying. And that's what I talk about too. It's like I made a decision that I'm going to give Spirit that time, because Spirit gives me time all the time, and give me grace and give me blessings all the time. So why can't I take time for spirit, for God. So that's what I chose to do. So in that space, things have just shifted and changed, and God has just shown me a lot of things. And some of the things are difficult to take, but I'm not even seeing it in a negative way. When things aren't really happening like I think it should happen, now God just tells me, don't worry, because I'm already working on it. Like this is the biggest thing. God had to tell me before I even went into 2025, because he made sure I had a lunch date with Nika, who is one of my she's a close friend of mine, but she's she's a very spiritual person, and she has a lot of challenges that she has in her life, but she is so, in it with God and getting through it. Because life is gonna life. But either way, I knew I needed to have that meeting with Nika. And Nika had already given me a gift for Christmas, which is, I already have to pray about receiving things and not thinking. That's a whole nother story. But either way, something told me I have to have this meeting with Nika. And then Nika, so she brought this little gift for me at that lunch. And this was the little stone. I think it's right by my bed. You saw it.
Showed it again.
Can you see that? Did I open it up? You got it? Okay. So when she gave me that, it was again confirmation, because God is telling me to be still, be quiet, let me work.
Say it one more time, please. Let me make sure
your
mic up.
Okay.
Say it again.
Be still, be quiet.
What was the fight? What?
Be quiet.
Quiet. Okay.
Yes, be quiet and let me work. And that is hard for me. It is.
They know too.
They know it's hard for me, but every time I'm obedient, things change. And he'll shake some stuff up, but then it's like, okay, I'm gonna be quiet, and because he's working. And I'm gonna say this, because and I had to figure it out why I was that way, right? It all goes back to childhood. All these traumas, all these actions, how we act as adults goes back to childhood. And a lot of times, of course, later trauma, but a lot of the stuff we deal with goes from childhood. And one of the things that I had to realize is that the reason why I feel like I have to be so vocal and to fight on my behalf of peace is because when I was younger, the way I coped with my parents being in a chaotic state when they would argue, not that they were like fighting and stuff, but just the arguing, the tension in the home, it brought me so much angst and anxiety. But I would never say anything. I would just keep it in because I didn't know how to express myself as a child, to say, Mom, Dad, y'all stop arguing because apparently it's bothering me. I didn't know how to communicate that. So I got sick. I started having stomach ulcers. My dad suffered from ulcers, but then I started to suffer from ulcers because we were in such a chaotic state in our family. And when I started to get sick, that's when Daddy left. Because he was like, my child can't be sick because of this now. Like, we gotta stop. And I appreciate that. But it's made me say, I need to have a voice. I gotta get this stuff out. I don't like this. And ever since then, I felt like I'm gonna be sick if I don't get this out. And nobody ever told me, and God never really, well, he probably did try to tell me, but I just didn't listen. But it never resonated with me until just recently. That's why I felt like I gotta fight for my peace. I gotta speak it out. I gotta get it out of my system because it's gonna make me sick if I don't. And now, even if I'm upset, I can't eat. I can't sleep, but I really can't. It bothers my stomach. You know that. And so that has to change. That is changing right now within me at 45 years old. That I'm learning that you don't have to fight. I'm a fight for you. And that is I said I was gonna cry.
No tissue over here.
We don't. I'm gonna try to calm down. Because for me, that's powerful. To know that I don't have to fight anymore. And I'm not. We've had these discussions. So that's what I said when it applies to you. when I start listening to God and I stop fighting you and verbally, that's what I mean. I don't want y'all to think we are here tussling, but verbally fighting you, I had to just say, the guy's like, stop, you know, and all these other folks, you know what I mean? Stop. So I appreciate that. Again, these are tears of joy, not tears of sadness. I appreciate that. And so to move forward in this space with God, I'm just excited to see what happens, because I know what I was able to do, and I know what we were able to do and achieve and grow in love and everything. I know how we've been thus far, but I cannot wait to see what's to come in this space.
Right. Well, I think I definitely didn't. I knew you were going to do all that.
I can't stand you. Because y'all know I'm emotional.
But I think, just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, and for this, this year and where we are, and even in that, I think kind of going back to the individual thing. So that's kind of what you've been doing, and so for me, it's been a lot of the same. But also just kind of getting back to that mental state of prayer and meditation and really being locked in on that spiritual side. You know what I'm saying? Because we can get so clouded and in everyday life and relationships and things that are going on. But for me, I know if that piece is not on point, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about, a lot of people get it confused, like religion, like, I'm not talking about the religion of it. I'm just talking about just the spirituality of it, or having that relationship with God or higher power, whatever you want to call it in your life, you know what I'm saying, in your situation. But just having that focus of that's whatever that is for me, or my life looks like in that lane, in that vein, let's stay on that path and follow that, regardless of, the temptation to try to maybe go to the left or right, with
or just doing what we used to do.
Right. Or doing what you used to do, or what you might think you're expected to do, or what society expects you to do or be, and what, regardless of what your race, age, whatever, like getting caught up in those things versus what your true calling or identity might be. And you talked about the purpose, whatever that is, like let that be, put that in the front,
right?
And
focus on that.
Focus that, right? Because so a lot of times, we think it's enough just to have it, just to say, okay, yeah, I got that piece, that spirituality piece, or God, or that focus, or whatever. But it's just floating around in there. It's not at the center. It's not what I'm moving towards.
Right.
And so when you say, okay, let's take it from the back and put it here in the front, and let's move towards that, and let's line our energies up.
Let it lead.
Right, let's line our energies up to be focused that way. And so that trickles down to the conversation I'm having on the phone with somebody, or what we're gonna talk about in this meeting, or even what I'm watching. Like I go, and this is one of the points I want to talk about as well, is just how do you help yourself get to that point or stay in that space? And so for me, it's like I had to be intentional about what I'm watching, what I'm putting in my head. So even when I have
put in your spirits,
right. When I have downtime, I let you have your little serious moment. Because I had some jokes I was gonna throw in. But for real, but just letting that be, when you say, okay, that's what I'm doing, and let's let that be what we focus it on. And so if, like what I was trying to say, and get back to my point, the downtime, instead of looking at, I might want to look at, some basketball highlights, or look at this little stupid dude on YouTube that is just this. I would be embarrassed for people to see me watching this foolishness. You know what I'm saying? But
I get it.
I love it. You know what I'm saying? I let it consume me sometimes, and it's an escape. But it's like, okay, instead of watching that, let me look at how. Let me watch something on finances, or wealth building, or just staying, or just mental health. And for me, it's like, the more I can stay locked into, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is the focus, this is the goal, the less those distractions and other things can creep in. The more you got that force field built up around you or around what you're trying to do. And so I think just being more intentional about those things, for me, it trickles down into our relationship and other things like that. And so I think, for some people it's hard to say, I need to be focused on my mental health, or I want to be focused on the spirituality or getting better. And again, there's just so many distractions that keep our phones keep us looking down, you know what I'm saying, instead of looking up, some type things. So just getting out of it, even it just popped in when I'm walking sometimes, like even if I'm not on the phone, I might have a tendency to just kind of be, just kind of looking down type thing. But like, I've been more intentional about like just, even when I'm walking, like just look up, you know what I'm saying? Like let's just look up and be present, right? And I think I mentioned that on the last one, just being more present instead of just floating by and being, let me just get through it. Like let me be more present as to what I'm trying to do and the goal I'm trying to reach for, not only for myself, but for the family, for everybody else that my actions and things affect and pertain to. So the more I can keep that's always in the focus, but the more I can keep that right there and the main focus and get rid of it's some other focuses that I have, but pull those back to like the second tier, you know what I'm saying? And because if that first tier isn't in place or right, then none of this other shit is gonna be in place. So let's make sure that first focus is right. And then two, we talked about when we have a similar focus, or we know we're going in the same direction or trying to meet each other at a point, then it's better for us and we're stronger together than one of us being in the head and trying to pull the other one up, or we think we both trying to get there on our separate individual paths, but all we doing is butting heads. That's good. That's some good shit right there. We butting heads at this point instead of right. We butting heads at this point instead of
which is a great. Were you wrapping up? Because this is a great segue into what I said, that I don't know if you want us to get too transparent, but just at our last family meeting, we have family meetings. We try to be consistent. We're going to be consistent from now on. But we try to have our monthly meetings. And this particular monthly meeting, this goes back to relationship and most importantly, marriage and, relationships like couples. Me and Walter didn't even find out that we were both on this journey until we sat down with each other and discussed it. So just imagine you're living with someone, you're focused on what you're trying to do because God got you just tunnel vision with him, right? At least this is how I felt.
Or you think you need to be tunnel
right.
vision.
So I'm tunnel vision. Right. Like I'm just solely focused on what God wants me to do.
And I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna be the one to fix it and make it right. And yeah.
Well, we gonna do it together, me and God. Right. That's how I went into it. Me and God gonna get this right. But I wasn't even, when I was looking at you, I ain't gonna lie, I'm like, and I don't know what he doing. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I just know what I'm doing. That's how I was moving. Right. I'm like, I know what I'm doing.
Right. And I'm like, I don't care what she's saying. I know what I'm doing.
And I'm like, and we at odds, and we, it's tension between us. But I'm just like, you know what? I'm not supposed to even talk about it. Let me just focus on what me and God doing. And so even going into that meeting with you, it was so amazing how it was lined up, even the time that we talked, because I was tossing and turning the night before. I couldn't even sleep because I had angst about this meeting. I'm like, because basically I was going to tell you, I'm all in with God and we about to go over here. This way, we headed over here. I don't know where you headed. That's really what I was about to go into it. I'm like, I was about to tell you, I'm headed this way. I don't know where you headed, but I'm headed this way, and I don't know what's gonna happen. That's pretty much was the gist of what I was gonna say. Of course, I had more. But the way, and then I even was like, this nigga ain't gonna be prepared. He's just gonna sit down and be like, well, okay, what we gonna talk about, like you usually do. I mean, in the past, not in the past, but what you've done before. Okay, what we gonna talk about, And And things
What do you do?
Oh my God. And things happened before then, like we went to church the first Sunday, and things happened at church, and it just felt a little extra special that Sunday, but y'all, this man sat down and said, I got my notes.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
I'm like, okay. He said, I'm gonna go first.
Mm-hmm. Come on. Yeah, he did.
Okay. So, and we won't go into detail, but when I tell you, you addressed everything that I was about to
attack me on.
I don't want to use the attack.
Because you put your claws up.
I know. Well, let me put them back.
Attack me on. Right. It's cool. You was finna attack me. It's cool.
Because I didn't. I was going to try to. Oh, I got supposed to. I was going to try to do it in a very loving way, but I was going to address things that, again, you had already. Y'all, this man said things that I've been praying for.
Yeah.
So, I was in awe of God in that moment.
I know, because you were quiet.
I was so quiet because God said, baby, just let him talk. And I said, okay, because he's talking and he's saying some stuff. And it also made me go back, and Walter talked about, I'm talking to y'all. Walter talked about getting closer with God the way that I want to get closer with God. And to know that you are going through that same thing while I'm going through this same thing, and we're doing it separately in the same house. It was just like, okay. But God had to remind me, y'all. And I've talked about this again on a past podcast. When I walked with God, that for that very first time that I physically walked with God, when I was pregnant with Anna, y'all have to remember, and I don't know if y'all recall the story, but God told me, you need to chill. You freaking out too much. You don't trust me enough. He said, she's going to be okay. He said, but y'all got to get closer to God. He didn't say you. He specifically said, y'all, me and you, not me. And it was so crazy when I reflected on that conversation. And so God was telling me, like, yeah, you all in with me, but you do realize your life partner is also going to be along for this ride, no matter how bad it look right now to me.
Right, in your mind.
In my mind. I put Walter in your life for a reason. I told you that when you first met him. And I said, you did. Because I mean, God talk. You did. And he said, so why would you think that he's not going to be with you on this journey? And you proved it, baby. Because I sit there in awe. Because I don't know how y'all talk to spirit, but God be answering my questions, and I be knowing it's God. And so to hear you say everything that I wanted you to say, I didn't have to say a thing, and I mean, it was amazing to know that we're on the same page with that.
Yeah. Well, and I say, so before we had the conversation, like I was the same way, probably like for a few days, just kind of like the angst of, okay, we've been having this conversation. As soon as I sit down, she gonna try to attack me. It's gonna be an argument, like it always,
Here we go again.
Same old shit. And I'm like, okay, like I don't want this to happen, because we at the point to where either we gonna, figure this out, or it's gonna spiral down in the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so my thing was, okay, what do I need to do? So I was praying. I'm like, okay, God, like, I got certain things I want to say, or a way I want to do this, but like, what do I need to say, or what should I say? How should I approach this? Because again, I was looking at it like I was almost ready to be combative, like, well, whatever, like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. Like I do, like whatever. We're gonna figure it out. Whatever. Right. I'll tell you that effort is. That's one thing I'm trying to lower this year. That effort is just that effort just be like, pow, 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 pow. This, pow, effort. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to reduce my effort levels. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm trying to reduce how much I talk.
Right. And so
go ahead.
But getting into that, like even the night before, like even that day, like I was sitting there and I was like, I don't know. Even on the way home, I had, jotted some notes. I had a bunch of stuff. But I didn't even get to that. Like,
and keep in mind, y'all, I'm thinking he's gonna come to the table unprepared.
Right.
And all this is going on.
But I was like, let me just start. Let me just talk. Let me just say what I'm feeling, what I've been thinking about, and what I see us being able to do, and the better we can be if we do these things. But again, it was a lot of me just saying, okay, let's do this. I need to be better this way. I want us to be like this. And again, when I prayed about it, like, God, tell me what I need, what should I say? How should I approach this? Because I don't know. Because what I've tried to do hasn't worked. What I thought
what we've been doing ain't work.
What I thought was gonna work, it hasn't worked. And so if this is gonna work, then you need to come in and help us fix this. You gotta be in it. Right. And I think that's one of the things we talked about is just we had been so long
doing it so long
without him in it. And
not in it, like at the lead, at the head of it. Right. That's the key word. We haven't been doing it with him at the head. Right. We definitely call on him when we need him. Yeah. But he hasn't been the head. Right.
And so I think even in that sense, just kind of saying, okay, this is what I thought I was gonna do, but let's just whatever lead this conversation, whatever needs to come out. And
he showed it, honey.
So it was good. It was good to get those things out. It was good for you to receive in the way you did. It was good for me to see you receiving the way you did, because that immediately lowered my angst about it or whatever. But it also boosts me up. You know what I'm saying? And so that,
and me too.
Yeah. So when we're in line like that, I think it boosts both of us up, and then we can take that outside of the home and into our other relationships and things we got going on, business, all that. And so it helps all around. But if that centerpiece, us as a centerpiece together, isn't connected and right, then it's just it creates chaos in the home. It creates chaos in our lives, it creates chaos in our relationships and all those type of things. And so for me, it was just like, okay, let me recenter. You know what I'm saying? Let me recenter. Let me get the focus back clear, because I know I have to be in this position for us, even though we're doing it together and we got to do it as a unit. I know for us to be our best, I need to be a level above where I am now, if not 2 levels, you know what I'm saying? And let's start moving in that way. And so it was just a good conversation overall for us to have. And I think we've been better for it since. It's a long year. We just in January.
I mean, right, we are.
But I feel like I think we really kind of turned a corner in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In that regard, and
definitely
kind of seeing that we're on the same page and path.
To know that we're on the same page brings me comfort.
Right. Because even there, like I was saying some of the things that made me frustrated, like you would say things and I'm like, she's saying but I'm like, I think about this shit all the time, all day long. Yeah. But you don't know that I'm thinking about it, or you don't know that I'm working towards these things, because we don't have that communication where it's said. Right. But it's like, I'm like, she should know that I'm doing this. Or she should know that. Or how dare you say that?
And that's where the anger comes.
Right. How dare you say that when you don't even notice that I'm doing, during the day and dealing with and trying to.
But that was also part of our conversation, that we need to do better with that.
Right.
Well, I would say you have to do better with that. I express, but then I feel like I got to pull back a little bit. You got to give a little more.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's where the balance kind of comes in.
Beauty and the balance.
Right. I think that's where it kind of comes into play. But again, it made me say, okay, I need to make sure that my wife, that my partner knows these things, knows that I'm thinking these things, knows that I'm not going out here in this world. I say all the time, I'm not sitting at home playing Nintendo all day. You know what I'm saying? So, but I appreciate that. I need you to know that, I'm on task. I'm focused. Yeah. I'm trying to do this. I'm taking care of this. Blah 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 blah. These things are in place and happen. They might not be happening as fast as we want them to, but these are the things I'm doing and I'm trying to make. And so when you say that I ain't doing shit, it's like, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? And not saying you say that, but like
Right.
when those type of feelings
Conversations
that happen, is like that. And again, that's where my frustration was coming into play. Is like, but I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But but it's the communication.
It is the communication, and I feel like, you know, Spirit has been working with me with that too, because, you know, a lot of my frustrations stem from, you know, where my source, what is my source, right? You know, who is my provider? And God had to shift my mindset even on that, because I was looking at humans. You are human. I was looking at humans as to who, you know, my providers. You know, why aren't you providing this for me? This person isn't, you know, well, really just you, not necessarily anybody else, but I was looking to you as a source, right? And so God had to even shift my mind on that. It's like, okay, water's not your source, right? No human is. And you need to focus on who your source is. And I will provide. And he even showed me, even though we're in January, he just in these first 2 weeks, he's shown me how he's going to provide you, and then too, you're going to provide it to me. You know, it's like it all comes from source,
right?
Which is, you know, Spirit. And so just shifting that. And I'm still working on that.
Yeah, it's a work.
Because it's a control thing. You know, it's like you think you control, but and that kind of goes back to my thoughts about the fires and things. But again, we're not gonna go back to that. But it's about control. It's like we can't control a lot of things. We have to pull back and say, okay, God, you are in control, but just give me the clarity. Clear out these distractions, like these phones, all this shit that people consume. Clear all that out so I can hear you, because right now we hear so much, even with people that say of God, we hear so much that's not right. We are led in all these different directions that aren't for us. And so just to have clarity is all I want.
Yeah. And I think we're going to wrap up, but I think the one of the things you just said that was important was just like letting go of that control, because, and I feel like that's one thing, again, that kind of where I don't necessarily try to control things, because I know it can't be controlled.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because we could be sitting here having Thanksgiving dinner, and then, you know what I'm saying? So like that's but again, that has led to my effortness a little bit. But it's like, I think finding that balance in it is important, because you have to say there's so many things that you can't control. You have to say, I can't worry about the things I can't control.
Right.
All I can worry about the things I can control. And what the little saying, give me the peace, or what it is to know the things I can't control and the things I can't, whatever that little saying is. Like, I think you got to kind of really live by that. And otherwise you get to a point where you get so overwhelmed and consumed and frustrated by all the things you can't control.
Well, you get tired.
Right. You get tired of trying to control everything. And when they don't go your way, you get
and that's the key word. And we can wrap it up. But that was the key word in my life. I was just tired. I'm tired. And I'm tired of the same old, because I'm trying to control things. I'm trying to figure it all out. God was like, "Ooh, I'm so sick of you. Move out of my way, please."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh God," and I'm surprised. Okay, I'm finna go. Where you need me to move? Okay, right over this way. This enough move. Okay, you got enough space, God? Cause baby, I'm tired. I don't even have the strength anymore to fight some of these stupid fights that I have been fighting. I'm like, I cannot. So just let me know where to stand. You want me to stand over here, God, so you can work? Where I need to stand? Okay. Just let me know, because I'm tired.
Okay. All right.
But I do appreciate all the things that are happening, and because he works fast. Right. Anyway.
All right. Well, this has been Beats Balance. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We're going to keep this thing rolling.
I thank y'all for joining us today.
Yep. Tell somebody about it, like, share, all of that.
Yes.
And
give us feedback.
Yeah, if you anything that we said or anything you want to comment or anything like that, feel free. We take feedback. And if this has encouraged you, or you want to use this to encourage somebody, by all means do that. This is what we're doing it for. So
yes. All right.
we're gonna keep it rolling.
All right. I love you.
Love you too. Are you gonna say the love?
All right. So until next time, love and light.